Hello and welcome to a new episode with the Success Secret podcast. Here with me, Hussein Talib. Today is this very special episode. We are talking about performance, specifically higher performance. Eva Medilek is a high performance coach. She helps highly successful, driven, achieving entrepreneurs, executive, and business leaders to get their drive back to go to the next level without the exhausting, isolating, and sacrificing their lives in the process. Eva, welcome to the Success Secret podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be
Awesome.
here.
Awesome. Me too. So, give us a little bit more about you.
A little bit more about me. Well, that's a loaded question. Well, here's the thing. I am passionate about helping highly driven, high achieving entrepreneurs actually advance to the next level of their careers, but without sacrificing their health, well being, and their relationships in the process. Because from my experience, they always say your mess ends up being your message. When I was building my first entrepreneurial business, a lot of us still work full time while building our businesses until we can successfully transfer over. And I realized that I was always burnt out, stressed out, and overwhelmed. And after a while, it affected my body, it affected my mood, and it actually, caused some breakdown in my marriage with my husband. So I realized at that point that if I didn't do something different, number one, I wasn't having any joy in what I'm doing, even though I'm successful. And those are two different things. And number two, I could lose it all and not have anybody to spend the rest of my life with. So it really took adapting the habits of high performance, if you will, into my life so that I could learn how to have success without sacrificing what's important to me.
Good, awesome. Because I know I hear a lot of people talk. I had them on my podcast say, for example, happiness comes before the money or before whatever it is, because the person should be accepting who they are and before what they actually achieve, what they want to achieve. Right? Is this
Well,
right?
you know what? It's a process.
Mm,
I think life is a journey and you learn and grow along the way. And some people don't have the skill set to be able to manage all. I find with entrepreneurs, we like to do everything ourselves. First of all, we like to have that control. And we think we have to do it all in order to have it all. And that's where, our self-care starts to
mm,
lack. We put ourselves last a lot. And then sometimes we put our families last. Our families don't
mm,
get the best of us. They
mm.
get what I like to say, what's left over of us after we've done everything else for
Yeah.
our business and everybody else.
Especially you, like you mentioned, like you transitioned from corporate through your own business. So I'm sure that took a lot of time, energy, and maybe money. So let me
All
ask you
of the
first.
above.
First, let's start. Tell me first, what is your morning routine, since it's like now AM at your time? So.
Oh, my morning routine. Oh, it's so cool because one of the things that I coach my high performance clients is creating a morning routine. A morning routine wipes out 20% of your stress
Mm,
and it creates positivity and preparedness for the day. So my morning routine actually starts on the trampoline.
okay.
Yeah, I have a personal mini trampoline that I just get my body moving, get the blood flowing, and I do about 15 to 20 minutes on the trampoline, followed by a short meditation,
Cool.
some stretching and meditation. And when I start to prepare for my day, I'm a girl, the hair, makeup, the whole bit, is when I listen to an Audible book, and it's usually on my personal development. So I start the day listening to a book, whether it's Brene Brown. Right now, I'm reading the book "Winning" by Tim S. Grover. He was the coach
Mm.
for our American basketball players, Kobe Bryant, Michael
Oh,
Jordan,
cool.
and
Awesome.
he has this really, really strong way that he got his clients to be the best at what they could do, what they were being. And so, I have three reading things that I do. I do reading for personal development. I do reading for education, and then I do reading for entertainment. And they're all kind of structured throughout my day so that
Cool.
I'm more well-rounded. But I start on the trampoline every morning.
So to get her performance, I assume it gets you the kick in, right? When you start your day with sports or exercise, it gets things going in the body, in the blood, right?
Yeah,
Keeps
for
you
me,
like pumped.
yeah. It's important also to move throughout the day. And, when I work with clients, I tailor, their routines for them, for their lifestyle. Some people aren't morning
The-
people. I'm
It's
a morning person.
not that not just not morning people. We don't move as much, I guess, right?
It depends. I know that when you get if you look at it this way, you see a power plant. The power plant doesn't have energy. It generates energy. So
Yeah.
what generates energy for you? You
Mm.
know, throughout my day, if I'm busy, I take breaks, what I call energy breaks, so that I can be on my A game for a podcast, for what I'm writing, for my clients. And so sometimes even just chasing my dog around the coffee table is enough movement to, like, okay, I've got the blood flowing, the heart pumping. Now I can give it my all, because we all tend to drag at a certain part of the day if we don't take
Yeah.
strategic breaks. And
Mm.
instead of drinking the Red Bull, I say move your body, get some deep breaths, and that gives you energy.
Yeah, I guess I think these energy drinks are not good
No,
because
they're not.
I am one of the guys that actually drink them for a while, and I used to drink them a lot. Sometimes I drink Red Bull for like 2 3 bottles a day, so it gives me energy for like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and then you're asleep, I guess, maybe with the sugar. So yeah, so
Yeah.
this leads me to productivity in general. So
Mhm.
how to get more things done instead of being busy? Because I think the day starting and doing these things should kickstart your whole day, right?
Yeah, you've got to plan your day. Part of my morning routine is looking at my schedule, planning it, making sure that I am focused at the task at hand. And then, like I say, taking a strategic 5-10 minute break in between tasks so that I have the energy. Because a lot of people just move from one thing to the next, or they try to multitask. And when you're multitasking, you're not getting much done,
Mm,
really. You're just
yeah.
getting a little bit of each thing done. And so if you can stay focused on one task at a time and put a limiter on it, you know, our task expands by the amount of time we give it. That's
Mm,
Parkinson's law, actually. So if you had 8 hours to write an article for a magazine,
mm.
it'll take you 8 hours. But if you have 1 hour to write that article, you
It
get
will,
it done in one,
yeah,
yeah, you get it done
exactly.
in 1 hour. So you've got to set deadlines, and that's why everything that I need to do in the day, I actually schedule it.
Mm,
Here's when I'm going to check my emails, and it's going to be for 40 minutes only. And then after that, you move on. And so you find you're more effective, not just productive, but effective if you put time limiters
mm,
on your task.
The limiters are good, but for everybody, like for example, you mentioned that, for example, college students or people who are in school, the students in school, generally, I don't know, maybe the half of them, and I don't have set. For example, they have a certain exam at a certain time, right? They study the exam a day before the exam. But for example, this is something that you can do because you probably have a big material to cover. But if it's like a small task, you can do it. So preparation and doing it prior to that is much better thing to do.
Well, you know what? That's planning. First of all, college students tend to be young and not have that emotional maturity. We all
Mm.
did what we had to do to get through school,
Yeah.
and I doubt that most of them, probably a rare few, are high performers. But
Mm.
yeah, if you have a task, that takes a long time, like when I do my presentations, I will work on the task for an hour, take a break, do something else, and then maybe
Mm.
go back to it for another hour,
Mm. So
or take
this,
a break and
yeah.
continue. So it's
Mm.
really just really being focused, but giving yourself the time to not have distractions or competing interests, because a lot of people are working on something, and then the notification comes in on your phone and you pick it up and like, ooh, who's texting me? You
Mm,
know, ooh, what email is this? You've got to really shut off the distractions so that you can be focused and you get a lot more done that way.
mm. So let us put a definition on high performance exactly. And the second thing is, do you think there is some kind of fear holding people from achieving more or achieving better in their lives or business?
Well, when you say the word high performance, a lot of people think high achieving,
Well,
and it's
actually, yeah, sorry. If you ask me, I relate it to athletes and sports people. For example,
yeah, yeah. So they think high achieving, sports people, high level executives that are running big companies, and here's the deal: high performance is consistency. That's
okay.
it. Consistency so that you can succeed doing whatever necessary to succeed over the long term without damaging your health, without damaging your relationships. It's really performing at your level best, your action of integrity, so that you have positive emotions, that you feel good, and you have the energy to do what you need to do. When you underperform, most people underperform because they have fear, like you had mentioned. They have fear that a lot of people have fear of success. I don't know if you realize this, because what is it going to change in my life if I become successful?
Mm,
How's it going to make things different? And fear of change is different, is scary for a lot of people. Or what are people going to think about me? Or what if I make a mistake? All of the what ifs come in, and it keeps us from taking action. And
yeah,
then we have fatigue that holds us back from being a high performer. Sometimes we're just, burnt out and tired. And when you have this idea that high performance means that I have to be a star athlete or head of a Fortune 500 company, you think that's not for me.
yeah.
But we can all be high performers, and it's just doing our level best consistently to reach our hopes, our dreams, our goals, our happiness, without being tired and burnt out and needing Red Bulls all day.
Seem like a lot of your clients may be drinking energy drinks.
I have one client that I'm helping find other ways to generate energy.
Oh, cool. Okay, so what leads to performance outcomes in general?
Well, what leads to our performance outcomes, a lot of it is, I like to say, the energy that you have during the day.
Mm,
Also, your ambition. How strong do you want it? Because if you're just like, I don't care, then it's easy to have other things take its place. So you've got to have some ambition. You have to have drive. You have to have belief that you can do it. You have to be able to know what action steps are necessary. And I say the number one thing is being clear on what you want,
mm,
being clear on what your priorities are, and making sure you share that with other people, and then setting boundaries.
oh,
Because when your priorities are clear, your decision making becomes
mm.
easier. Most of us say yes to too many things
Yeah.
that take us out of the direction that we really want to go. And so I would say it takes a little bit of selfishness.
Yeah, actually, yes, like the movie, yes, with Jim Carrey. Like when he said yes to all the things, he was like went insane or something like that. So not everything you should used to.
Yeah.
You should pick and choose, I guess.
Yeah. No
That
is a complete sentence.
yeah, exactly. So you should pick and choose on certain things, especially if they are going to drive better business for you, better income, better relationship, better health, these kind of things, right?
Yeah. I mean, look at what's important to you. Like, I get offers all of the time. And I used to feel guilty if I said no, and wonder, well, what
Mm,
if I miss an opportunity? I'd have all of these concerns in my head. But if it wasn't aligned with what I'm creating for my life, then I have to say that now is not the right time for me. And you don't have to just, be hard about it and say no. Like, this is not what I'm creating at this time. Maybe
mm,
another time it'll be appropriate. Keeping keep me in mind. But to say, when you say yes, you're actually putting your priorities on the back burner and you're reacting to other
Mm,
people's priorities,
mm.
what's important to them. And so you get to really be clear on what your goals. And a lot of people say yes because they're not clear on what they want and where they're going. So clarity is the first thing we need to get to establish.
So this is saying no. This is one of the things that we say that drains our energy. Because if we keep saying no to certain things, this takes away our energy, right?
Yeah, of course, because you're trying to do everything for everybody, and you're getting what we say, you're stretching yourself too thin, trying to
Mm,
be everything for everybody and your family, and then guilt comes in. And so there's a whole type of energy that's created in your body where you're not feeling like you're living your most vibrant life. You're just being pulled in all different directions.
mm, exactly. So regarding her performance, how can we have or what we do regarding influence and impact, whether it's in business or at work with the friends, family, whatever.
Ask that again. I'm sorry. I
How
lost you there.
does that have more influence on and impact at our business? How does high performance have more influence and impact in our home, work, relationships with friends and family?
Oh, yeah. So, it's really, I like to call it adopting that role model mindset, because
Mm,
most of us are afraid of what people think. But let me tell you, it's admirable when you see somebody who is clear about their purpose in life
mm,
and where they're going and how they make their decisions. You're actually being a role model and stepping into more of leadership, whether your leadership around your own home, your family, your children, leadership within the bigger picture of your family, or in your communities and at work. People will admire you. A lot of it is helping people to learn how to think, not what to think, but just how to think about things and making the decisions to become
mm,
clear. And so, and challenging yourself and other people to be at that next level of excellence in your life, whether it's that next level of making a healthy meal for your family or a next level of running your own business. You can really have more influence and impact by just role modeling the way, helping people learn how to think about things, and challenging yourself and others to that next level of growth.
mm. So, what exactly the habits of high performers?
Well, it starts with clarity. There are certain habits that we can create that give us clarity. Our energy habits and practices. Courage. How do we take bold action consistently and challenge
Mm,
ourselves?
cool. Oh.
Productivity is one, how to be more effective. And so creating habits through the day so that you're more productive, your day, your week, your month, your quarter, your year, and the influence part. Because when you're a high performer, we don't know it. We may not even notice it, but people are watching us
Mm,
all the time. People are
yeah.
watching, how you act, what your temperament is, how you react or how you respond, how you create safety. People notice how you make them feel. And that's hugely influential, especially when it comes to mediations and negotiations.
Mm,
It really is. People notice the feeling when they're in communication with you more than what you're saying is how you make them feel.
yeah.
So, all of these core principles or tenets of high performance actually set the foundation for mastering your psychology, your physiology, your, even your how you persuade people
Mm,
in
cool.
life and really setting your purpose up.
So this is also we return to the impact and influence on people, right?
Yes.
So what does impact itself means to you as Eva?
What impact means to me is actually making a difference for someone.
Mm.
Sometimes I have a cousin that I used to babysit when I was 13 years old, and she was probably around 7 or 8. And I recently, not too long ago, I had a chat with her, and she said to me, now I'm in my 60s, she's in her 50s, and she said,
Wow. Okay. Really, you look great.
thank you, thank you. And she said to me, don't you know that the whole family looks up to you? You know, when we're talking, we always wonder, well, what would Eva do, or what would Eva think?
Mm.
And I had no idea, Hussein, had no idea that that's what my family thought of me, because, you know, in your own family, you know, you're
Mm.
still the little boy, I'm still the little girl, we're cousins, we grew up together, you
Yeah.
know, going to grandma's house, eating cookies, you know, all of that stuff.
Mm.
But I had no idea that the family in general, and it's a big family, held me
Mm.
in such high esteem. And so, you know, it really makes me conscious of what people are seeing, and
Yeah.
how I act, how I react, how I respond, and how I make them feel. So
Mm.
that gives you an impact.
Yeah, yeah, great, great. Actually, when people, especially the close one, see anyone that influence them in certain way or certain
Yeah.
thing, yeah, it's cool. So what would you, yeah? So what would you say your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. Oh, I just had one. One of my favorite quotes, to be honest with you, is one about time.
Mm.
And it's, time comes to those who make it,
Okay.
not to
Okay.
those who try to find it.
Oh.
And that quote is from Jen Sincero. She wrote a book, the Badass Books. You Are Badass. And, you know, most people are trying to find time. I don't know about you, but, you know, I ask people when I connect with them, how are you doing? How are you doing? And I always hear, good, but busy, good, but busy. You know, even when I'm talking to, you know, onboarding clients or having these sales conversations, oh, I would do this if I had the time. I don't have the time. And you hear all the time people complaining that they don't have enough time or they're too busy. It really is a priority issue.
Exactly, yes. Because we all have the same hours in the day. And
Exactly.
what do you do with them defines things in your life or your business. You can't add more time, you can't buy time.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
most of us think, you know, when we're busy, we try to add things. I need to do more. When you want more, you try to do more. And it really is what you need to get rid of. Taking things
yeah.
off of your plate,
Saying no.
hitting the delete button a lot of times. Like, you don't need to read every email that comes into your inbox.
Yeah.
Either unsubscribe or delete, and really be focused on your priorities. So if hiring a coach will get you to where you want to go faster, then that's a priority, and you will make the time. You
Mm.
won't find it because it's not lost. You have to carve out and create time for what's important to you.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned books. So what is the books that you like and would recommend people to read?
Oh my goodness. I just read Mel Robbins' 5 second rule.
Ah, okay.
It's an older book, but I read it for the first time. And usually I'll listen to a book on Audible, and if I really like it, I buy the book, and I have it right here. And then I put my little tabs and I mark out all the important parts. And the reason why this is now one of my favorites is because she has this method to combat procrastination.
Mm.
And procrastination is actually a way that we deal with stress, which
Hmm.
means instead of whatever we're procrastinating about doing is causing us a certain uncomfortableness or stress. So we find other things to do that bring us pleasure and
Yeah,
happiness.
but the problem is sometimes I see certain things, like for example, an entrepreneur in business, you actually have at the end of whether the day or the end of the next week or the end of the month, you will have to do that thing. There is
Yeah. So
no running away from it.
yeah. So what, you know, my coach, Brendan Burchard, calls them Friday finishers. What do you absolutely have done by the end of this week, Friday at 5 p.m., and really create that intention and set aside time to do it. But she has, in the 5 second rule, she has the countdown like a rocket launch.
Mm.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Do it. Whatever you're procrastinating, you get to launch yourself and do it. It's not about how you feel. because your feelings are never really aligned with what's best for you most of the
Yeah.
time. You
Yeah.
feel afraid, so you avoid something that you know that if you did would bring you to the next level. So you've got to win the battle with your feelings. And one of the ways she does that is that she counts backwards from 5. And then by the time she gets to 0, she does it regardless of how she feels. And so, for a lot of people, this is really helpful in propelling them to not procrastinate, do what they need to do for their business, their
Yeah.
life, their world, and stop putting it off and get it done. And it's such a great feeling of satisfaction when you do.
Exactly. So first of all, let me say that success has its own definition for different people, right?
Right.
Yeah. So successful people in general, this is a general sentence. Even those people who achieved massive success, like athletes, Michael Jordans, and the others, they maybe did certain things that they did not like. But in order for them, they knew in order for them to be high achievers and high performance, they need to do certain things, like for example, train an extra day or train extra hours or whatever, right?
Right, right,
This is
right.
this is what you have to do to be a high achiever or high performer.
Well, I would say it's different for everybody. So
Mm,
you really, really have to set your boundaries based on you, set that balance based on what your priorities are. When you talk about Michael Jordan and Kobe, they were competitors, they were high level competitors, and they sacrificed a lot. But we don't know what agreements were in place with your family. For example, like you may be working on a project that's going to take time away from your family and your personal life and maybe even your workout schedule, but
mm,
it's for a set period of time. Everybody's aware of it. You set up, this is my priority. These are the boundaries I have about this. Nobody can knock on my office door while I'm working on this. You set it up. Everybody knows, everybody's aware that this is what I have to do, you have to do until Friday. After that, Saturday, we'll go to the park, we'll play, we'll go to a movie, we'll do something. So it's really being clear
mm.
about what your priorities are, the boundaries you set, and sticking to them yourself and making sure the people around you know them and honor them. Now, when you talk about the Kobe's and the Michael Jordans, I read a lot about them and their work ethic and what they did and the sacrifice they and their families made. You've got to make sure that the support system, the environment around you,
You have enough support
supports
for
what
that.
yeah, it supports what you're creating. Because if you have people in your life that are like, no, I need you here, I need you to do X, Y, and Z at this time, you've got to create agreements. And most people are doing things without letting their family being really clear. And the people around them, even your employees, know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what needs to be done to get it done. And it's really about having that clear communication and being an influencer in those
Yeah.
conversations, so people want to stand with you, stand by you, support you. How can I help? Let's do this together, and be on board with you.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
so
Great.
that's
So you
the difference. You got to
yeah.
make it for you, though.
Yeah. So you mentioned like communication. When we say communication, we're talking about relationships, right?
Every
So
every everything is a relationship.
yeah. So how does performance has to do with relationships?
Well, the energy you bring to your relationships is the most important energy you'll ever spend. I mean, most people have worked for a boss that has really bad energy. Let's put it to you a way to make you
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
bad.
I know these people. Yes,
You know
I
those
know them.
people.
Yes, I do.
which makes a lot of us want to be entrepreneurs. The reason I'm an entrepreneur today is because I had a horrible boss, and I'm so thankful that I had that experience that propels me to do really something I enjoy a lot more. And so my point in sharing that with you is, you know, relationships are everything. When you have happy, healthy relationships in your life, you become a better performer. If you walk into a home situation where there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of yelling and nagging, and you bring that energy into your
That's
work as a
bad.
boss.
Yeah, it's
You take it out on other people. I had that experience personally with someone I worked with. If something wasn't right at home, she came to work and yelled at all of us employees. Like,
oh,
really?
what? What?
So yeah,
Yeah,
relationships and communication, if you want, people need to know, like, and trust you, but even the people in your home need to know, like, and trust you the same way.
yeah. So, Eva, what would you say one takeaway from this episode for the people who are listening?
The one takeaway from this episode that I would say is we can all be high performers, and high performers is taking consistent action that supports your priorities and your values so that you could live a life you truly love, whatever that is. You don't have to be Michael Jordan. You don't have to be head of a company, but you want to have happy, healthy relationships in your life. You want to feel good, have good energy, have good health. And that is the true calling of a high performer. It's just really being consistent.
Awesome. So, to be a high performer, the key is to be consistent in doing things.
Yes,
Yes.
and doing things that support your goals and values,
Awesome.
not
What?
somebody else's.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, this is the most important thing. Where can
Yes.
people get in touch with you, Eva?
If you're really ready to be a high performer, just go to talkwitheva.com and let's create a strategy for you.
Mm,
My website is evamedilek.com to learn more about me. But you know what? Let's talk about how we can really strategize and create high performance in your life. And just go to talkwitheva.com.
awesome. Thank you, Eva. Go to talkwitheva.com. That's her website. Well, thank you for being here today with me, Eva, on the Success Grid podcast.
Thank you.